Hello everyone, my name is Brett, and sometimes I wear a beret, and today I am once again talking to you about my Spring Thunder, but with a few new pieces this time. I first showed off this blaster back in early 2020 when I received it from GDOP. I ultimately did like the blaster. I had a lot of fun using it in a game for the first time, and just playing around with it in general, but I did have some critiques that I shared with you in that video. So if you haven't seen it, go and check it out, and I show you all about this blaster, some of the 3D printing quality issues I had, and then just a different look at the shells and some firing test footage. And I'm happy to say that GDOP did take my criticism as constructive and has been working to improve his products ever since. Also, in that time, a fellow viewer by the name of Boomstick, he reached out to me and said, hey, I'm gonna send you some stuff for your Spring Thunder because I love my Spring Thunder and I want you to love yours even more. And if you've seen my most recent fan mail video, then you have seen a sneak peek at what I am showing off today. But here it is. I have installed a couple things already: new handle, new pump grip, the match saver, and some of the Picatinny rails on top. First off, I would like to get this out of the way. I will probably be saying this a couple of times in the video. This blaster, in its current configuration right now, is a little darker than what I would probably like for most public games that I attend. Boomstick has actually said that he is going to help me change out some of these colors for a little more green and white. So as if he hasn't already done enough for me, he's doing that too. Thank you so much, Boomstick. This video is basically made possible by him. And even on top of that, the guy was one of the first dudes to jump onto my Patreon. That's right, shameless plug for Patreon. If you've ever wanted to support me in other ways, go check out patreon.com/BeretNerf. All right, end of that. What exactly did he send my way? The most glaring ones. I was a little critical on two rather important pieces in my original Spring Thunder video: the pump grip and the handle. They are not perfect is how I would describe them if I was being nice. The handle's got some rough parts, and the pump grip is a little small now that I've actually seen a different one. And those were the first things to immediately get replaced on this blaster, and it is hard to ever imagine a world where I would go back to the other ones. This handle is so much nicer and smoother. It's a little bit bigger. It's about the same length, but it's a good chunk to it that even my hands will agree with. And then moving forward, this pump grip is so much bigger than the original one. It's full, it's girthy, it's, yep, it is really nice. And those all already make a huge difference on this blaster. He also sent me these carbon fiber covers for the pump grip and then barrel, so that's still just the PVC underneath, but with a nicer cover on it. I believe they're carbon fiber. They're listed on Shellington Blaster's website, so they look nice too, but again, they do add a little bit more black to the blaster than I would like. That's why I'm going to change up some of the other colors. The match saver he also sent, which is already installed right here, is what you use to hold a shell on the side. It was actually something I was considering when I first got my Spring Thunder, but I didn't get it, and now I'm actually really happy to have one because it's a really perfect spot for where you're gonna grab another shell and just drop it right in. You'll see a little bit more of it in use later. And then the Picatinny Rail up top, I received 3 rail sections in my first purchase, and he sent me 4. So I filled in the entire top, and I've noticed that has really helped with the structural stability overall of this blaster now. And then I also added one more right here on the side, and I have an Out of Darts GoPro mount right here as well, and you'll see a little bit more of that being used later in the video. The front barrel as well, I guess you can't tell from this angle, but he did print me a replacement orange front cap, and it has my logo on it, which is just a very nice touch and unnecessary, but he did it, so very kind. Here's some cool stuff that I have to admit for this video. I'm probably not going to get into too much because I haven't actually installed it. This right here, this are for single dart shells through the blaster. I believe it's the sniper kit, if I'm understanding this correctly. The barrel comes back into the blaster, and then I'm not sure which one it is, but I have 2. One of these 2 goes up front to replace that orange cover and seats it perfectly, so basically making this blaster act as a more of a sharpshooter, I suppose. Again, I haven't tried it out too much, but I have the materials now to do that. And of course, to add to it was a a barrel that I was very interested in trying out one day. This is for rockets, demolisher rockets, missiles, that caliber size. I'm assuming it interfaces similar to what these are doing. I'll have to look a little bit more into it when I get there. I wanted to try it, I just didn't get to yet. Someone is messing with me here, but I'll accept it. Good job, good job. So again, I'll get to some of these pieces in the future, but for now, I have a blaster that works with some very cool, brand new shells. So these are a sample of the original ones that I received. They're okay. I did actually break one in my initial testing, but they're shells, you can reprint them, and I got a variety of different ammo types, and that made me happy. I told this to Boomstick. I told him I had a few that I liked and I wanted more of, but I also kind of got some color ideas because I had a cool idea for video purposes and also just play purposes. Hey, you like shells? Here's some shells. With the shells that I received from GDOP and now the ones I received from Boomstick, I have 101 Spring Thunder shells. That's right, one more just to drive you crazy. So let's talk about these colors. What do they mean? Why are they here? Why are we here? I can't answer that one. So I got about 10 of each color except 5 of the white ones. So here, just the standard orange is Rival. Standard orange I wanted just for Rival because I liked that I already had a lot of Rival orange, so I can use the previous ones from GDOP and those will be just perfect. Now I'm not sure if this was supposed to be the case, but he sent me some orange single shots as well. And I don't know why, they're good quality though, so I can use them. And then also single shot, he sent me, more specifically, these dark green ones. So they're the same caliber, which means you can put 1 full-length dart or 2 half-length darts inside of them. And in case you hadn't noticed, on the side of all these shells is my logo as well, so you know if you're scavenging shells for some reason, these are mine. Moving on to some of the blues, we've got this dark blue. And this is the triple Boomko, which I am a very big fan of, especially since I have enough Boomko ammo to run it. And then in this very nice light blue is a single Boomko round, which is actually a shell I did not have in my first testing. Getting a little more lively with pink, very vibrant pink. You will not lose these, which I appreciate. This is the birdshot round, which means that you can fit 2 full-length darts in there. Hopefully they're not super thick darts because it's gonna be hard to fit them in there. Or you can do 4 half-length darts. And again, if they're thick foam, it might be tougher for them to kind of all fit in there, which means it'll be decent performance, hopefully. And then lastly, we tried to just see what would it be like. What about the white ones? The white shells are the Ultra shells. It does actually say Ultra on the side. And I believe these were designed by Radioactive. He's got his logo there. So I think this is just a Thingiverse shell. The Ultra shells are noticeably difficult to load. But you know what's really funny? The Ultra shells perform really well. Like 130 FPS well, which is perfect. And with a whistling Ultra dart, the Sonic Screamer, I actually got some pretty accurate results. So funny enough, the coolest shell from all of these new ones that I received from Boomstick may actually be the Ultra ones. What a weird world we live in. I did have an issue the day of testing this where I noticed the blaster just stopped catching after some initial playthroughs with these new shells. Obviously it was not the shell's fault, it was something inside the blaster, so we opened it up to check out what was going wrong, and it turned out that the catch had worn away at the plunger. The sharp metal catch seems to have completely worn away what it was supposed to catch, and it was no longer actually catching, and I was unable to cycle through shells. So we did a little bit of work. Thank you, Captain Xavier, for your help on this one. We decided that we would just cut off one end and we were going to replace the part that actually catches on the metal catch with a metal washer. So metal on metal. We also shaved down the metal catch so it was a little less sharp. So I'm not exactly sure if that's a common problem that others see. I believe GDOP has been working on something that is similar to what this plunger looks like, but it also gave me an excuse to open this blaster up and get a little more familiarized with the internal mechanisms because I did order this blaster completely assembled, so now I have a little bit more knowledge in case anything goes wrong again. Let's move on to some outdoor testing. Alright, here is the Spring Thunder in its current configuration. It's a little bit darker than what I'd probably prefer for a normal game, but in Captain Xavier's backyard, I'm going to call it acceptable. What I've got as far as what I would like for filming purposes: GoPro 7 on my head, Hero 5 Session on the side rail here, and now the newest stuff since my review, I have the +1 holder on the side, and I don't have the shell holder on top because I just have a pile of shells on the ground. And I'm going to show you what those look like going down range, and what I might try and do as far as gameplay footage with Spring Thunder heads-up display. Simple enough. We'll find out. Whistling Ultra. May not be accurate, but it's dang satisfying. Learning to count with Beret. Oh my gosh, what is that? That was a foot shot. Well, technically it count on target, but I guess it didn't count because it was a shield. Last guy. Okay. Most satisfying, honestly, was the Ultrasonic Screamer. That went pretty straight, right down range, and you could hear it. Some of the single shot ones seemed to do okay on the dart side and the Boomko side. I only had single darts loaded in the single dart, not like 2 half-lengths instead. I loaded all of the double dart shells with 4 half-lengths, so those definitely did not go super far, but as far as covering about up to 25 feet, that worked pretty okay. Same with Rival, 3-shot buckshot, effective for what you're using it for. I like the Rival buckshot because it's relatively safe, so you could use that almost anywhere. And then the Boomko 3-shot flechette was, I think, a little bit over that 25 feet. It did vary a little bit, and that's kind of what happens with the inconsistency of ammo inside of the Spring Thunder. Definitely like the pump grip a little bit more, gotten a good feel for that one now. And the handle is also a bit more comfortable. And as I mentioned before, I might be looking at making it a little bit more lighter and toy-like in the future. But for just testing it today, I'm happy that it seems to perform as expected, as I previously noted, and now I have a bit more functionality with my additional shells, additional shell holders, and additional pieces of comfort. I want to give another huge shout out to Boomstick for sending me the extra parts and the shells for this blaster to make it even better than it already was. I'm very appreciative of that, and hopefully you guys have gotten a kick out of what I'm trying to do with my Spring Thunder. I really want this to be a fun blaster to use, but I also want it to be a fun blaster to watch be used in a video. Let me know what you thought. Thank you for watching. I will see you later.